Good morning. Get ready with me. Today's vocal lesson day. That's one of the mugs I got from my parents' house. I went to my parents' house on Tuesday. Monday after the show and everything, like the day after the show, I woke up to a message from my dad. He wanted to see me, and I was already making plans with my mom to come over to my childhood home to get some things, including my husband's ashes, because after he died, I think I was trying so hard to numb myself from the pain that I was like focused on trying to move forward. And that included when I moved, I decided to leave his ashes behind because at the time I was like, well, he's always with me. I don't need his ashes for that. But I think a part of it was because it was just too painful. I don't know. Because eventually, once I did move to my condo, it all hit me again, like if he had just died all over again. All those feelings I had been avoiding and numbing, like all came and caught up and everything. But I don't know, I just always had him at my parents' house because I don't know, I was just like, he's always with me. And he is. I talk to him all the time, and actually he was the one that helped me get on this journey of improving myself. He came through my meditations and stuff to help guide me in this path. So yeah, he's always been with me. But at the same time, I brought him home, and I was like, it was just this feeling of, why didn't I have him home this whole time? You know, like, I don't know. Even though he was always with me, I don't know, it's just something about the physical urn, having his urn here with me. It makes something feel complete for some reason. I don't know. It was weird. I just didn't realize that until now that I brought him. I was like, I should have brought him sooner. I don't know. So anyway, and then I had a conversation with my parents about the distance between us. My dad said he missed me, that he wants to be a part of my life, and I was honest. I talked about the corn situation, about just different things of how I started the conversation saying, this is my truth, my perspective. I understand that your perspective might be different, but this is coming from my perspective. And I don't hold any grudge or resentment. I'm just bringing it up because I want you to kind of get an understanding of how I got to thinking this way about everything, you know? And my dad, he cried and apologized and said he'll try his best to not criticize me, or to try to be more supportive rather than judge or criticize. Whether he really means it or not, only time will tell, you know what I mean? But my mom was more defensive about it, about what I said, because I mentioned that I didn't feel supported by them during this point in my life, and that's why I needed the space, because I didn't feel the support that I needed from them. And in order for me to be able to do this, I needed to have faith in myself, and with their fears and worries, that wasn't helping. And my mom took that as me saying that that I never felt supported by them or something. And she started going, well, we supported you through this, and this, like listing things from the past that they supported me. And I was like, Mom, that's not what I'm talking about. She got obviously defensive, and that's fine. And actually, the reaction surprised me, because history has shown me before that usually my dad is the one that gets defensive and my mom is the one that's trying to keep the peace. But it was interesting to see that the roles were reversed this time, and my dad was the understanding one, or seemed the understanding one, and my mom got defensive, and my dad at some points had to kind of be the peacemaker and interfere. Because when she got defensive, I got defensive. You know, I'm not perfect. Like, yeah, I'm still working on myself, but there's still a little girl inside me that wants to be accepted by her parents, you know? And actually, I took the time to get ready that morning. You know, I mentioned I meditate while I get ready, and I was meditating and grounding myself, just reminding myself to have no expectations going in. Just because my dad said he missed me doesn't mean that things are going to be all better miraculously. Just kind of preparing myself for any scenario, reminding myself that, yes, that little girl inside me came out and was like, I just want to be accepted and loved by my parents. And I was like, we only need The only acceptance we need is our own acceptance. Just reminding her that. I also asked my spirit guides for help too. There was another moment where I felt nudged to ask them for help too, because why not, you know? So I was like on my way there, just asking them to be present, to interfere wherever they deem necessary, things like that. And I feel that they did it, because despite my mom getting defensive, like afterward we still hugged. She said she still wants the best for me, and I said I still want the best for you too, because at one point she made a comment, because I was real with my mom in that I was like, why do you project your worries onto me? I said, that doesn't do me any good. And she said, well, I don't want it. I said, well, I don't want it either. So do something about it. Like, work on that. And she said, but this is how I am. Like, you know, this is how I am. And I said, but why? Why do you want to be that way? You know, and I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way at all. It was more like, I was just holding the mirror to her, like, why? Like I said, those emotions that are coming up, those are asking for your attention. Those are things that are making you feel like you're not enough. And at one point she said, I just feel like it's too late for me. I'm like, it's never too late for anyone. I said, you know, she took it as more an attack on her as a mother or as a person, maybe. I don't know. But that's not how I meant it at all. And like I said, I started by saying I hold no grudge or resentment at all. And I don't, because like I said, I understand that this is how my parents were raised to love. This is how they were raised to love by their own parents, you know. But at the same time, I'm going to continue to stand firm in my boundaries, right? Even now that we agreed that we would all try and be better, right? That I'm still going to keep my boundaries, right? And this is their opportunity to show, okay, like my dad is saying he'll try, that he just wants to be a part of my life. Because I even told him, like, I just had a show and I really wanted you guys to be there. You know, like, I missed you. I didn't want to be separated. I didn't want to have distance, but I needed the distance because I've been doing great, you know? I've been working on this. I've been telling them, I didn't like spill everything, but I just said, I've been taking singing lessons. I just had a performance. I wish you guys were there. And my dad's like, I wish I could have been there. And I was like, I've always loved to write. So I've been writing some songs. And my dad's like, yeah, I know. Like, you know, as they've been cleaning, they've been coming across a lot of my journals and stuff with like writing and stuff like that, which actually brought one of them back with me. It was like a journal I kept with quotes and stuff that I used to collect. I've always loved quotes and words. And it still has pages, blank pages. So I'm like, maybe I could continue it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what wants to happen with that. But overall, I think it went well. And I brought some cool knickknacks and stuff from my family home, including some cool mugs, because I love mugs that have positive sayings on it. Like this one says, life is sweet. And my mom had a few of those, so I took them because I'm like, yes, I'm starting. When I moved here, I started a collection like that of mugs that have things like that. Like I have one that has making jefa moves, which is making boss moves. Jefa is boss in Spanish, or like joy, believe. And there's other ones that she has too that I took. So I love it. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm glad that we were able to talk things out before. Like my niece has a recital this weekend, and my sister had invited me to go. And I was dreading it a little bit because I was like, I wasn't sure how it was gonna be. Like I didn't want it to be awkward or anything. And so I'm glad we had this conversation before that happened, so that I feel things are still gonna be a little awkward, but not as awkward as they were before, right? Not with the unspoken things. Like I was able to speak my truth and at least feel heard and be able to speak my truth, because I did emphasize with them that like I'm gonna speak my truth, I'm gonna express myself, I'm gonna, you know, because that was another thing I was honest with them about, is about how I was teased growing up that they never knew about. I was like, you guys never knew about that. I never told you guys. Or I always felt like when I cried or whatever, I was seen as too much or too emotional, or like I'm overreacting, because they always made me feel like that whenever I would get emotional. Like I've always been an emotional person, And then I was just not, it's never felt like I was safe to do that. And I'm not holding back anymore. So, but anyway, so yeah, so I'm glad that went well. And we've been talking in the group chat for the band about potential songs that we want to do for this new season. I think I've narrowed down a few songs from the warning. I think I'm gonna talk to my vocal teacher about it today to see, because I want, like I said, I want one that's challenging, but also, I don't know, I'll talk to him about that, because I haven't had much energy to do much music stuff other than singing. I haven't had much energy for much else. I've just been taking it easy and resting. I honestly feel like gearing up for the performance and the performance itself, like, took a lot more out of me than I realized. Now that it's over, now I'm like, ugh, I feel like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders or something. I don't know. And when those songs come up, I skip them. I'm like, I'm not gonna practice you for now. Like, the band decided that we're gonna tell our teacher we could still practice those maybe every once in a while to keep them fresh, but still add more to just always have songs ready to perform, you know, whenever the time. Because for us as a band, we're like, our ultimate goal is we won't, like, when we have our shows, we won't need a guest band. We'll each have enough songs to perform for the whole time instead of inviting someone over to fill in the time. So that's the goal. But our keyboard player did message and say that she was gonna opt out for the summer season because her life is getting really busy with her own personal stuff, which is kind of a bummer because we're like, oh, that sucks. But we're happy for her and congratulate her because she's preparing for a book release. She's doing lots of things that I'm very happy for her about. So now it's just about finding someone to replace her for the season at least. She did say she'd be back in the fall. So either our teacher could take over, because I know he plays keyboard, but I know they normally prefer like a student to take that position. So I suggested maybe we could ask the Wednesday band keyboardist if she has the time, but I'm just throwing things out there, not necessarily thinking anything might come of it, but I know she's getting married at the end of the month, so who knows if she might even be available, you know, because I know weddings can be busy, and especially if she's gonna go on a honeymoon or something. So we'll see. There's a lot of things up in the air right now for this upcoming season, but things will slowly but surely begin to reveal themselves, so I'm not worried about it, you know. Things will work out. I just really need to narrow down what song I want to do for me, you know. I feel like we'll each get to pick a song, at least one song. But I am playing some music in the background, hoping the sound doesn't pick up on it, because I'm like, I just always used to getting ready with music on, and it was bumming me out that I couldn't. So I'm like, let me make it as low as possible, as long as I could be the only one that hears it. You guys don't have to hear it, and that way I don't get those things from YouTube or whatever. And I have to make a lot of room in my phone too, because I filmed a Get Ready With Me yesterday. I was getting into my, you know, my makeup with the tears and everything, because I was gonna have a play session yesterday where I get into my thing and I sing and I meditate. I write music if it comes to it. You know, I journal, things like that. It's like, I call it playtime. Not to be confused with any other kind of playtime, because it feels like playing dress up, to be honest. That makeup helps me get in the mindset of that future version of me that I'm becoming, to really fully embody it and stuff like that. And it feels like being a little kid playing dress up and just being in that feeling of being already there, being that person, being already having my album, already having that art out for people. Like, it puts me in a different headspace that honestly sometimes I feel like I sing better when I'm in that costume sometimes. You know how I mentioned how I feel like embodying the voice, how sometimes it includes embodying it in your body? I feel like that's why sometimes I feel like I sound better when I'm in that, because because of it, but I don't know. It's fun. I just do it with no expectations. If nothing comes out of it, if all I do is just have fun, and that's all, you know, that's already great. That's the point of it, right? If the point of it is just to have fun. If anything comes out of it, great. If nothing comes out of it, that's fine too. Like, we're still playing, we're still imagining, we're still embodying that version. I'm still embodying that version of myself either way, and that's all that I wanted to do. So, it's a good stress reliever. It's good. It gets me out of worrying about the future, about what's gonna happen, you know, because in that embodiment, I'm already in the future that I'm creating. I'm already in the future where things have worked out, not just for me, but even in society. Like, things in society are better, right? Because that's part of what I'm imagining too, right? I'm imagining not just for myself, but for everyone around me. Because why would I imagine a world where it's just me, where I want everyone else to also succeed and be happy? And some really great ideas came through. Not music ideas per se, but more like about the kind of community that I want to build, and things like that. I won't talk too much about it yet, but I was definitely inspired. So it's just, yeah. And like, I think I mentioned before, like, I've already gotten ideas about like things like that community that I want to build, but this time it's like more details came through, more details, more visuals of what that future looks like. Which that happens sometimes. Like, I'll get glimpses of it and I'll say, yes, let's do it. That's usually how it works for me. Like, I'll be shown different possibilities and I decide what I subscribe to and what I don't subscribe to. And just keep enjoying my life, keep singing, keep creating, keep doing what I'm doing. I try not to cling on to that too much either, because that also is not really beneficial, right? It's just more like, yes, I want to subscribe to that, let's do it, and then continue doing what I'm doing in the present moment, kind of like grounding myself back to earth. Do I want to do turquoise? No. I think I'm just gonna do black. And at your funeral, I will sing the requiem. But yeah, that's normally what I mean by Nova's playtime. I'll call it Nova's playtime. I have part of that gear, like that makeup and stuff, includes a crown, because actually the crown is what inspired the makeup look. But I didn't wear the crown yesterday. The crown can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, so I think I need to cushion it up a little bit, because it hurts a little bit sometimes. But part of my errands today is going to Dollar Tree, so maybe I could find something at Dollar Tree that I could use to make it a little less painful on my head. But too much to watch you die. I still need to go through the footage of the show. Our teacher, he recorded the whole thing, and he sent it to us yesterday, and it's like over 2 hours long, because it includes everything. So I need to sort through it. I really want to see my performance of The Best, because I haven't seen footage of that, and I feel like I blacked out during that. Honestly, I don't remember much of it. I just remember that I did miss that cue to come in toward the end of it, but I honestly have no recollection of the rest, and I really want to see how I did. So I'm gonna go through that today. I've already posted some clips of me singing Scar Tissue and the Chain, so I just gotta get some clips of me singing The Best and Percussion Gun, and maybe the other ones too, because I did do background vocals on the others. But you know what's funny? Like, in rehearsal, the one we were having more trouble with was Percussion Gun. So we switched the songs, because we were originally going to end with Percussion Gun, But we switched it to the one before that, Check Yes Juliet. It's like a pop punk song. Because we felt more confident about that one. But then once we performed, we actually ended up doing better with Percussion Gun than we did with Check Yes Juliet. We kind of messed up the Check Yes Juliet a little bit. Because our male vocalist, he's the main vocalist for that one. Not just, he's not the only one that messed up. Like, we all messed up at some point, I think. First of all, like, the drummer started kind of, like, the drummer and the guitars were kind of out of sync. So it took them a minute to kind of get that. And then the vocalist, he kind of mixed the lyrics a little bit because we looked at each other and I went, like, it was like he did the second line first instead of the first line. So he's like, let's just do the second line again. So we just repeated it. So we looked at each other and realized that he just said, let's just do it again. So I like, okay, like, you know, cause I'm his harmony. So like, for me, it's like the harmonizer, I'm their echo, right? Like, if they mess up, I mess up just to make it look like it's how it's meant to be, right? So yeah, I feel like we all messed up at some point. I think I messed up too, even, because the harmony was hard for that one. It was hard to hear the harmony for that in the track. So yeah, it was funny how that turned out, because Percussion Gun ended up turning out really good. Like, pretty good, like, better than what we had been doing in rehearsal this whole time. And then we messed up Check Yes Juliet, which Check Yes Juliet was the one that we'd been actually doing pretty decently at. So it's just crazy how things work out like that. Like, this is why, like, you could have plans of how something is gonna go, and then it just, when it actually comes down to it, it can turn out completely differently. So that's why I'm learning to just have no expectations out of anything, because that way I don't cling to one outcome, and then whatever outcome ends up happening is what ends up happening, and it's fine, you know. We all did great either way. We all pushed through. We all learned more. We all just became better musicians because of it, and we're all striving to be even better, because even the songs that we're trying to pick out, it's like we all want to be challenged. We all want a challenge. We all want to learn more and grow as artists, which is why I really like this band more than Wednesday Band, because like I said, like they seem to take it more to heart in that aspect, because to them it's something that they want to do outside of school, right? And so I need that kind of motivation, that kind of push as an artist. And so that's why I'm glad I'm sticking with this band, because of that. Actually, I want a little bit more blush. It's not as noticeable. I like the blush to be noticeable. I don't care if it looks like too much. I like it. It's all that matters. Okay. So since the performance, I've kind of, like I said, I haven't had a lot of energy to do much, but also part of it, like looking back at my performance and stuff like that, there's been a bit of imposter syndrome trying to come through. So I've been overcoming that, working on overcoming that, and just continuing to push through it, despite, like, I'm not letting it stop me. I'm not letting it stop me from continuing to do what I'm doing. But when it comes up, I fight it back. And actually, that happened yesterday while I was walking from getting my eyes shy, where I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I just, you know. But anyway. But yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed how supportive everyone is of each other. Especially my bandmates. My bandmates are, like, they seem really supportive of each other. Of, like, every time we mess up, we never blame anyone. We, like, always work. We always apologize. We're always like, sorry. It's always like, they made a joke of saying that it's a Canadian standoff, because everyone's just apologizing to each other, or taking the blame for stuff rather than blaming each other. And like when I was singing for the other band, my bandmates were cheering me on. Like, it was cool. So And then my bandmate, the one who's a bass player, he sometimes does, they have these like songwriter nights at the bar not far from my house where I had my first live performance. And it looks like they have that like once a month there. And he sent us an invite. He's gonna have another performance next week. So I was like, yay, now I actually get to stay for the whole thing because I'm no longer on the other band, so it's not gonna take up. At last time I had to leave early because I had to go to band practice, but now that I'm not in that band anymore, I can stay for the whole thing and not just watch my friend, but watch the other performers too and support them too, you know? So it'll give me something to look forward to for me, like whenever I get to perform my songs, you know, because that's the ultimate goal for me, is getting to perform my own music. So hopefully it will continue to inspire me, because last time I left inspired too, even though I just saw my friend's performance, but his performance inspired me. So, you know, it inspired me about songwriting. So, but I do feel the call to do some more songwriting. It just hasn't, I feel like I'm first almost like recharging first after the performance. My body's been just taking it easy and wanting to take things slow. But I've been feeling the emotions stirring. Usually when that happens, I mean, it's almost like I'm gearing up, like my body, my mind, everything is preparing to start working. And the more I've been working on myself, like I said, the more I've been working on myself and on releasing all those stored emotions and the stored things that I hadn't let go of from the past, the more sensitive to energy I become. In that, even as I'm gearing up to do something, to like I'm gearing up to do some songwriting, but I haven't made the decision just yet. I'm waiting for the right moment, like, as in, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's like, I know the time is coming. I'll know when it's time. That's the best way I could explain it. But even as I'm preparing for that, it's like my body already knows. And so, like, emotions will start stirring, things will start coming up. Almost some things have already come up this week. Like I said, the imposter syndrome stuff, which I'm probably gonna write about that stuff too. And so yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, we'll see what happens, but I try not to overthink it. If anything, I feel guided to just continue being me, being present. It's like, there's no need to chase an idea. There's no need to chase a melody. There's no need to chase anything. I just need to essentially prepare myself for whenever it wants to come through. And so that actually is less doing. You know, we were conditioned that we always need to be doing, always need to be working. That's not true. We need to relax more. We need to, I see it more as like preparing my vessel, right? I'm a human. I'm preparing my vessel to receive the information from the creator, right? Whoever the creator is. There is some creator, right? Whether you choose to believe it's a God or it's something. There is something that created us. Energy, whatever you want to believe in. I'm not here to convince anyone to believe in anything. I'm just here to help people find their own magic within themselves. Whether that looks like for you, whether that looks like connecting to God, whatever God or deity you believe in, or whether that's connecting to yourself, you know, because that's what I did. I connected to myself. And for me, it came through as a God, not the Christian God, because I grew up believing in a Christian God. And I think that's why I connected to God. You know, to me, I see it as the real God, because I feel like the God in Christianity was made up to keep people in fear. So this is the real God that was, you know, trying to be hidden by religious, the people who created religion, those who created religion. But you don't have to believe in that. I don't feel like people have to believe in God to achieve their dreams. They just have to believe in themselves. Because either way, we are all creations that come from the same creator. So, you know, I feel like the real creator doesn't care whether you pray to them or not. As long as you stay true to yourself and who you are already connected to God. I more encourage people to connect to themselves, because connecting to themselves connects you to the creator. Whatever creator you want to believe in, doesn't matter. You know, to be energy is energy. Energy is the creator of all things. And yes, there's many nuances to that, but we all come from a creator. We were meant to create. We are all part of the creator. We are all made of the same thing our creator is made out of, which is energy. So we all have a piece of the creator within us. So that's why we are meant to create, because we all come from the creator. So I feel like if people who are meant to create and are not living their true purpose will live an uncomfortable life until they follow their calling. And it to me makes sense for me, because yeah, I was unhappy until I quit my job and started doing things for me. You know, even when things sometimes can feel uncertain of like, where's money gonna come from? What am I gonna do? What is the future gonna look like? Still not nearly as stressful as when I worked at my job, where I had to take like mental health days like every month because of how stressful it was and how much it took a toll on me mentally. And it just was not worth it to me, you know? And then when I started things started getting more and more uncomfortable at work, at this work that I loved. This was my favorite job that I ever enjoyed. And then I feel like the universe started making things uncomfortable for me because I was meant to leave it. But now when things feel uncertain, I regulate myself and then I'm fine. Because for me, I've built this history of taking these small leaps of faith that have shown me that it's safe to trust myself. It's safe to trust my intuition. Even though I don't know what the future holds, the past has shown me that continuing to trust in myself always ends up working out for me. I always end up learning from whatever comes my way, right? Because whatever comes my way has only helped me stop and break the patterns that I had that were keep holding me back. So if anything, those difficult things that come up only make more room for me to continue to grow and continue to improve in my own life. So still don't know what the future holds completely, but I've received visions of it and I've subscribed to those. So I'm just gonna continue to pursue what I love, continue to pursue music, continue to pursue and see where it takes me. Like I said, I'm learning to not have expectations and to just continue trusting in myself and continue staying regulated and continue not letting the imposter syndrome win. Because yeah, I feel like that's something that's always gonna be there, at least as long as society keeps having those same beliefs and stuff, right? Of like setting certain standards for certain things, right? Where no, there's no standards for anything. You could be whatever you want. You could say, oh, the market's oversaturated, or oh, they'd never have a musician that looks like me. But what if you're the one that's supposed to change the rules for that? What if you are meant to be the exception to the rule, but you're holding yourself back because of your fear and the excuses that you're making? That came up for me this week, where that happened. Like, I looked at my performance and I said, am I really good enough to be on stage? Like, that thought came up and I said, who cares? What if I'm here to be the change? What if I'm here to whatever, you know? And plus, there are big girls out there that are artists too. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to stop. That's not reason enough for me to stop. And that's a decision I made yesterday. I said, I spent most of my life thinking that I wasn't good enough because I was fat. I'm done believing that. I'm done letting anyone convince me. That's the thing. I believe in myself. I feel I'm good enough. I'm capable. I'm continuing to stay dedicated and committed to me, to myself, to my craft, to improving my voice, to improving my skills. I trust that that's gonna continue improving because I've already seen the difference, and I'm gonna keep going. And I understand that people are gonna like me and people are gonna hate me, and I don't care. I really don't care, because I understand that those are all their own inner things being projected onto me, and I've already done the work to know that that has no hold on me. I've already let go of those things that I used to think about myself, and I've already let that keep me from doing a lot of things in the past, and I'm done letting it keep me from doing anything now. So I don't care. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my errands done. I'm gonna go to my voice lesson, and let's see where else the day takes me. I like it when the universe surprises me anyway. So I do sometimes like to say, surprise and delight me, universe. And the universe really likes to surprise me. And if you ask it to, it loves to surprise us in good ways. You just have to ask. So anyway, have a great day.